Hi, this video is about something that seems to come up out of the kind of niggles and discomfort that comes up doing yoga asana. This one seems to be a relatively common one, and it's about getting pain or discomfort or just feeling like something's not quite right in either your back leg or your back in Warrior One. So as a reminder, Warrior One looks like this. My front foot, if I was using a mat, my front foot would be in line with the long edges of my mat. My other leg is stepped back and turned out a little bit. And then I look over the front of my mat and reach my arms up. So I think the reason that discomfort can come up in this shape is often because we kind of just mistakenly get caught up in thinking that it has to look a certain way, and there are just certain rules that we need to follow to make this shape. And one of the old school instructions that kind of floats around about this pose is that you should try and square your hips to the front of your mat. Also, there's a rule floating around that you should have your feet one behind each other. So if you have either do either of those things, or you've taught them, like I definitely taught them when I started teaching, and now I just think I kind of know better, I want you to try and let go of those rules and just come on a little trial and error with me. So if you're in Warrior One and you look down and your feet look like they're one behind each other, almost like you were standing on a tightrope, try just wiggling them a little bit wider apart on your mat so that now they look like they're on kind of train tracks, the width of your hips, and see how that feels. If the answer is the discomfort's gone, great. If it hasn't, let's try something else. Instead of turning your chest to the front of your mat, just a few degrees, turn your chest a little bit away from your front leg. So you can still look over the front of your mat, but your lower back, your upper back, so that kind of main portion of spine is facing a bit off on a diagonal. Again, if that's fixed it, great. If it hasn't, a couple of other things you can play around with. You could try changing the angle of your back foot. So instead of turning it way in, try turning it out a little bit more. If turning it out a bit more makes it worse, can you try turning it more in? Does that fix it? Another thing we can try out is just shortening your stride. So the stuff that we've played around with is the width of your stride, the length of your stride, the angle of your back foot, which determines angle of back leg and so pelvis, and then the angle of your chest, which determines angle of lower spine and so pelvis. If all of those things, if none of those things work for you, instead of Warrior One, let's just try a lunge. Unplug your back heel, so pick your back heel up. Don't just pick it straight up, swivel on your toes. So now your hips are easily able to point forwards. And let's go lunge instead. I hope some of those fixed any discomfort you were feeling or that your students were feeling. If you've got any questions, let me know.